So this is Stripper. First, tell us how you got the name.
I was working with the SWAT crew, which is a trail maintenance crew in the Smoky Mountain National Park, and we were putting in the water bars, and those are the logs that drain the water off the trail to help with erosion. And we had done the first one, and the men had taken an axe and chipped all the bark off the tree trunk. Took them about an hour and 15 minutes to do that. And we got to the next one, and they asked me if I wanted to try, and I said absolutely. So I took out a pair of pruning shears, clipped a section of bark about an inch and a half wide, and stripped all the bark off the tree in about 5 minutes. And they said that night, Andrew, the co-crew leader, said that I was the best damn tree bark stripper he'd ever seen, and somebody yelled stripper, and that's how I got my name.
Cool. Okay, you've had a lot of adventures on the AT. How many times have you done the trail?
I have about 4,700 and some odd miles. I've done the southern half 3 times. It'll be my 4th when I flip-flop, but it'll be the first time southbound. Most of the northern section I've done at least twice, if not 3 times. The only thing that I need to do now is I need to go over the Wildcats. I need to go through the Moosilauke Notch. I need to summit Katahdin, and then there is a section Andover to Stratton that I need to finish up. That's it.
Wow. So, in all your adventures, tell me what kinds of injuries you had, because I hear there's quite a list.
I have a list. So in 2015, that year was not kind to me. So the first injury was I tripped over a root and rolled into a ravine and smacked my head on a rock and had a concussion. 2 or 3 days later after that, I slipped and fell on, I think, Mount Carlo. And I had separated my ribs from my sternum.
Uh-oh.
And 2 young men actually carried my gear to the next shelter, and then I walked out and went to the hospital that next day. That was 2000. Both of those happened in 2015. In 2012, 2012, I fell coming down into Bennington, Vermont, and luckily the only thing that was broken on that one was my pole. So those are the 3 major times that I've fallen. Now my hiking partner, she just about fell off backwards off of a ledge, and I just happened to be on the same ledge, and I had a hold of a tree and was able to wrap my arm all the way around her and get her back on the ledge before she actually fell about 50 feet.
Oh my gosh.
So
that
was
been
2000.
horrible.
That was 2015 as well.
Not a good year for the trail.
That was not a good year for us anyway.
So what kind of advice would you give people that want to hike the AT to avoid some of the injuries that you've had?
Some of it, the fall into Bennington was down a steep rocky cliff. It was steps, but it was raining and it was dusk. So don't hike at dusk, and try not to hike in the rain. Unfortunately, you're going to have to hike in the rain. So just go slow and be careful. The trip, I didn't get my toe picked up. That's the only thing I can tell you, is I got my toe caught on a root and I went right down. And the slippery rocks, that was after it had rained. And that was on Mount Carlo.
So rain is not your friend.
Rain is not my friend. So we try not to hike in the rain. But when you're on you've got a deadline, sometimes you still have to hike in the rain, so you just have to go slow down, take your time, make sure of your footing.
Okay, thanks a bunch.
No problem.
Today is very wet, and what happens when it's wet? The trail becomes part of the creek. You can see the water flowing down, and for at least the next 100 feet, It goes right on the trail. This is the trail up the hill, flowing in water today, continuing to rain and make these climbs really tough, and the declines even worse. I noticed that this area to the right of me, going up Kinsman Notch, got burnt. Yeah, pretty scorched. And that's where I've been from. Heading on up to Liza Brook Shelter. Hopefully get there before I get too wet. You can really hear the falls on the other side. It almost sounds like rain coming, but man, it's just the sound of the falls coming down. You're walking on the trail when it's basically a river. There's no way to keep your feet dry. Might as well just forget it. And it's a strange combination of really mushy stuff underneath and a few rocks. So you never know when you're going to sink or when you're going to walk on top. And you look like that. Big mucky mess. But at least it's not raining yet. Expected to see a moose in there, but nothing yet. However, I've climbed a ton, and I come out to this and realize I still gotta go clear up there. Oh. Well, I'm at the top of Kinsman South. I gotta go over to north. I will tell you, climbing up here, going north, that had to be the hardest and scariest mile I have done so far on the trail. It was brutal. Top of North Kinsman, and I'll be going downhill most of the way from here, so hopefully not too horribly slippery. You can see all the little pine trees up here. So far, no rain. I like it to stay that way. A little update. As you can see, I'm not on the trail. Yeah. Came down from the Kinsman to meet Leanne for our birthday celebrations, and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to go on at all because my knees really were hurting and I could just hardly move. So decided to come home for a while, see the doctor, and the verdict from the doctor is I needed some cortisone shots in my knees and I should be able to return in a week. So we'll see how that goes.